What's going on, Junkies? Welcome back to another episode of Culture Junkies Live. I'm your host, Kenshiro, and we're back and we've got a lot of really cool stuff to talk about. You know, we took a week off last week, but in the meantime, between time, there was a lot of stuff that dropped. You know, between the Joker trailer came out, Hellboy's coming out this weekend. A bunch of other developments like from Netflix with Netflix Cowboy Bebop casting announcement. We've got just a ton of other stuff to get to, but joining me on the show right now is Mr. GQ. How you doing, my friend?
Not too bad, man. Always doing pretty good. I made some changes, as you can see, to the quote-unquote dungeon.
Yeah.
So got a lot of stuff going on as usual. So I mean, things are going well though.
Looks good. Looks good.
I appreciate that.
Looks good. I really like it.
Got some other people that's jumping in, joining in.
Oh, who's on the show? But Fallen Mark. Oh, Miao Yin has joined the show. Is she on her phone right now? Is that what I see?
Forehead of justice.
Yes, I am. I am having a little bit of technical difficulties, but I'm going to work it out.
Oh, okay. I'm sure you'll work it out. Oh, well, Fallen Marvel has joined the show. It looks like his technical difficulties aren't proving to be too much of a challenge. How you doing, fam?
I'm doing all right. It's weird. I actually had to go through Gmail to get here. Don't know why. That's odd. But hey, hi everyone.
You made it. That's what's the important part. You made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You made it. So anyway, guys, like I said, we were off last week. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, a lot of stuff to talk about. Well, we missed you all last week. In the meantime, let's jump into a few of the quick hit stuff that we talked about. So the Joker trailer dropped last week.
Yeah.
So what did we think about that Joker trailer?
Can I say this?
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, you know what? First of all,
What?
man. I'm gonna need you to turn down Murder She Wrote in the background.
I told you.
I'm gonna need you to turn that down, man.
I told you, Mrs. Turn it down just a tad bit. She gave me the middle finger.
We ain't trying to get no copyright claim.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we might get copyright. Just turn it down just a tad bit, just a smidget.
Just a smidget, he says.
She said, "Ken, you can what you say? Suck your ass. What you say?
What?
Oh goodness!
Suck your ass.
Trying to get vulgar now?
What? Wait a minute, man. Look, man. I ain't trying to come in between you and your lady, man. Because look,
I know it was just her talking crazy.
Yeah, she talking real crazy, like out the side of her mouth right now. But anyway, I'm glad she turned it down. So, what were you gonna say about the Joker trailer? Yeah,
it looks cool. You know, my still is the background okay?
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
So I mean, it looks cool. It looks like its own thing. My main question is why? I know they're not doing this whole joint universe thing is done, and they're just doing separate things. But it feels like they have no more ideas. And yet again, we're going back to Gotham, their characters once again. So you mean to tell me, out of all the DC characters, you couldn't do a movie on somebody that's, you can create and build that person up? And I hate to go back to Marvel, a D-list character, and now he's a superstar. So my main thing is it's all about creativity. I mean, it looks cool. I want to check it out, but at the same time, why? I know it's a good was a cash cow to get this money off of.
Can someone help this man with why do we need a Joker film?
I will just say my piece and my ideas of maybe why.
Lena, I cannot hear you.
Can you not hear me?
Well, no, I can hear you just fine. Go ahead.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so
maybe that's my shit.
I will say why I think it's happening because
Batman.
Remember Suicide Squad and how much people were just like, well, where is Joker? Why doesn't he? He could have his own movie and he could do this and he could do that. And there wasn't enough Joker. And obviously after Heath Ledger's Joker, which obviously some Philistines do not enjoy that.
You call them
Joker.
Philistines?
So
Philistines?
I will say people wanted a Joker movie. I'm excited for a Joker movie because, I like the Joker. and there's so many different versions and avenues and ways that you could do the Joker, I say let's do it. Also, we are having problems with their A-list characters for people even going to see these films. So why try to do the Marvel formula if it's not going to work for you? Like, sometimes you don't need to copy another brand's thing that you know isn't going to work for you. Just saying.
So that's your 2 cents on why we need a Joker movie? Okay.
I'm saying why. I didn't say why we need it. I said it's probably why it's happening. That's my theory.
So Joker is not exactly the movie we need right now, but I guess it's the one we're gonna get.
I totally agree.
What movie? Which one would we need?
We don't need any of them right now because I just saw Shazam not so long ago, and it was okay, but it was just basically it's another Super Friends episode, just a little bit shorter than Aquaman. It was cute. It had its moments, but
I love how he called it cute. That's so nice.
Because that's exactly what it was. It was literally okay. For example, it wasn't Green Lantern levels of bad, because obviously Green Lantern is like one of the worst movies they've ever done. But Shazam was like very generic, very basic. Now, granted, it's a much lighter tone than anything they've ever released as far as their single solo hero movies go. But Mark Strong, honestly, played a good villain, which he always does. But realistically, Dr. Savannah was almost exactly like his villain that he played in Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. It's almost exact same character. I guess it was Moriarty. No, it wasn't Moriarty. It was a different character. I forgot what his name was. But he played him basically the exact same way. Now, that might just be Mark Strong. That might be what it is. Maybe they were like, hey, channel your character from Sherlock Holmes. But anybody trying to say he was just pure evil, it's like, no, not really. He had a backstory that pretty much showed why he had a chip on his shoulder. So, like Porter Dave likes to always say, oh, they didn't humanize him. It's like, no, they humanized him within the first 5 minutes of the movie. They basically let you know why he is the way he is. So I'm not really understanding that one. But going back to the Joker, I like the trailer. The trailer was really creative. The trailer was really cool. The issue I have with it is, it's like, okay, I've seen this movie though, in the sense of Killing Joke basically told this story. And yeah, they tweaked a couple things here and there, introduced his parents or his mom or whatever. But it's like, you're doing it again. You're doing the Gotham thing again. You're giving me the Joker without the Batman. And it's like, that's fine. But and I also wouldn't say Joker is not an A-lister. He actually is. He's one of the most famous. He's one of the most famous villains of all time.
I didn't say he wasn't.
No, you just said he's not. You just said not their A-list stuff. Joker is
no, I said their A-list movies aren't being, like, the masses aren't running out to see them. So why would they get a D-list or a B-list or even a C-list character when they're not having success with their A-list? So that was my point.
And I think, well, technically they did do that when they grabbed Aquaman and made a movie. So that's kind of what they were able to get some success out of, a character that most people weren't checking for. I think the problem DC and Warner Brothers has had is they've been able to kind of go cruise control and coast with these movies for most of our lifetimes. Superman, they broke the mold with Superman. Oh, wow, you can actually make a man fly and look somewhat believable. Okay, cool. So we've done that. And then Superman 2 came out and it was awesome. And then Superman 3 came out and it was like, what the hell is this? and then Batman came around and we rode the Batman train for 2 good movies. And then Batman 3 came out. What the hell is this? Batman 4 doesn't even exist for a lot of people. So I think Warner Brothers, and again, it goes back to, they rely on Superman, Batman. Like you said, they're A-listers. They didn't know how to approach these other characters, where Marvel had no choice. And again, it goes back to the Rocky thing. When you're hungry and desperate, damn it, you'll come up with some really creative, really good stuff. When you don't have to do it, you throw out whatever because you think you're going to bank on it. So who knows?
And I think that's been Warner Brothers' whole problem the whole time. You know, like what you just said, like they can't. I don't know what it is. You just find somebody, build them up, and make them an A-lister. What's so hard about? I know they got the top 3 gunners, and they didn't do a great job. Besides Wonder Woman, they didn't do a great job with the most.
Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
Casting director.
That too, absolutely. So, but also
it could be the writer's fault.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So here's the thing. Here's the thing I hate too when people say is somebody's fault. It's the person who wrote the script and the person who directed it. They're like pretty much the key of everything. If you gotta have a good script, and you gotta have a good director
and the screenwriter.
Director and the screenwriter, absolutely.
And people do not want to blame the script. They don't want to blame the director. They want to. Okay, you can blame the studio, yes, but the studio
I do blame the studio, absolutely.
So it's your fault. Go ahead.
No, because I'm just saying, because I think like up between Man of Steel up until Justice League, I think like everything up in between then was basically based off Zack Snyder's ideas. So
boo, Zack Snyder. Boo, Zack Snyder. Terrible man. He should never work again.
If you really look at like those movies, like screen, like he penned some of the ideas but like those were like part of his grand scheme between Man of Steel up until Justice League. Now, granted, yes, Warner Brothers did interfere because they wanted to course correct after,
the Abomination. The Abomination.
That should have never been.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they interfered. They interfered because they wanted to course correct. So, but again, they finally was able to get like a really good bona fide $1 billion club hit with Aquaman.
But
so
that's fine. But the thing is, there's always blame to go around whenever a film is made because it's a collaborative effort. You can't really just say it's on Zack Snyder or it's on this person or that person. Or exactly, Christopher Nolan, because there's a whole bunch of people that film went through before it was released. So for them,
that's true. So that's very true, but it's like, once again, it's like once they kind of already put the money out, the movie's been shot and written and all that or whatever. The thing is, they gave Zack Snyder like way too much leeway in what he perceived to how he wanted his universe to be because of him wanting to like everything has to be dark and gritty and all that or whatever.
But here's the other part of it though, and it goes back to not having a plan because even go back to the original Star Wars, A New Hope. That movie actually was saved through editing. That movie was already shot and ready to go, and because Lucas, being the not so great storyteller but outstanding visionary and creator that he is, he put together a really long, convoluted mess. And the editor came in and saved that film, cut like a lot of the fat out, and basically made that thing the masterpiece that it is today. So even after a film is shot, dude, a great editor can go back and make that thing cohesive and work, even with working with what they've got. So
that's true. That's true. I mean, I don't doubt that one bit. So, like I said, like I'm not saying I'm trying to like put it solely on them, but it's just because it was essentially centered around his idea. Like he was supposed to be like the centerpiece with everything. I mean, yeah, it's easy to point to say it's him, but I mean, he was kind of like in that central role to organize everything, which he shouldn't have been, because first of all, you can't organize a whole universe in less than 2 years. So,
very true. But again, and usually, and for a lot of people, the director is going to be the one that takes the brunt of everything. Also, thank you to Nicolette for liking the stream, and Stephanie
Keith.
Also. Yeah, I'm sorry, Keith as well. Also, Stephanie chimed in and said only if Jack Nicholson can reprise his role because no one else can compare.
Heath Ledger did pretty good, but he's dead. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. But he's dead.
Well, damn.
Can I also say for the Zack Snyder thing? Zack Snyder should stick to, I think, the valiant side of DC. He shouldn't be doing the cookie cutter kind of films that come with Superman or sometimes with Batman. He should be doing those more complex movies because 300 is a great movie. Excuse me, Watchmen is a great movie, and those are complex comic book movies that he did a great job in.
And why did he do a good job?
He should stay.
But why did he do a good job? Here's why I say he did a good job in Watchmen and 300. Because what?
Go ahead.
No,
because I literally just said it. I started with it.
What?
He should be on the valiant side, the more complex side. There's more complex stories.
No.
And not the cookie cutter films that come with Batman sometimes.
Stop. No, stop.
And Superman.
This is why he did good on Watchmen and 300. Because he literally wasn't required to do anything. He took the Watchmen book almost panel for panel and put it on film. He took 300, the book, panel for panel, put it on film. He didn't have to do anything. That's why those movies were good. They were good in spite of him.
You mean to tell me that there aren't books out there for Superman and Batman and stuff like that he could do? Did that too?
No, he didn't, because he didn't rip from them. He tried to go off a script and do his own thing. That's why they failed.
It's not even just that, though. Doing what he did with 300 isn't just grabbing the book and making it come to life, because there's a lot that goes into actually doing that. So,
but he also wrote the screenplay for 300.
Exactly,
so that's a flawed
statement. But again,
exactly, that's what I'm saying. I give him his props on that. Also, really quick out of the chat, Stephanie says that Aquaman did good not because of Jason Momoa. That's not true. That movie made $1 billion off of Jason Momoa packs.
She said not just because. Not just because.
That's the reason. That's the reason.
No, that's the only reason Aquaman did good, huh? Okay.
If you broke down the demographic,
came out in droves and paid their money for the tickets.
For shirtless Jason Momoa. Okay, man.
I bet you if you broke down ticket demographics, it would be 90%
90% women.
They want to see Amber Heard with red hair. So like the other 10% that want to see Amber Heard with red hair, but the 90%.
Wow. Okay.
Check it out, Momoa Peck. So Stephanie, that's why Aquaman. Did
Momoa Pex. No, I think you're wrong on that. Aquaman was a good movie. No, Aquaman was a good movie. No, yeah,
it was a good movie.
Yeah,
I went because he is a great Aquaman, but I stayed because it was the rest of the film was also good.
Okay, him being a great Aquaman might be debatable.
Hold on. So if it's such a great story and a great world that was built, are you going to go see the Trent spinoff?
Probably. Yeah.
No.
With no Momoa.
Yes.
No.
Okay, now have fun with that.
I will tell you guys all about it because obviously you guys will not be watching.
No.
Even Marcus Smith is saying Aquaman did good because of a bunch of horny women. I don't buy that. That's not true. Nah. I don't buy that. Anyway, guys.
You never know.
So there's another movie that came out, and actually, we didn't get to hear LGZ's take on the Jokers. So I'll give her the floor real quick, and then we can move on to a couple other hot topics before we start getting into some of the other stuff that we want to talk about today. Miss LGZ, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So what did you think of the Joker trailer?
Actually, I thought it was interesting. I think I'm more interested. It's more interesting to me because Joaquin Phoenix is doing it, which is. I don't think he's a great actor.
He's actually secretly the Joker in his real
wow.
in his spare time.
I mean, hey, that's just. I mean, he did. I saw the Johnny Cash movie, and I was like, okay. And then I was like watching him over the years. He's been weird, and I just he's not consistent, and I think that's the problem for me. But I mean, I'm interested to see it because it's an origin story, so I kind of want to understand. But I mean. I'm kind of just thinking maybe this is. I'm gonna watch it no matter what, but I just.
Wow,
I don't know.
I'm a little surprised by her take. The way she's always in DC's corner, I'm a little shocked by hearing what I'm hearing here. But hey, it is what it is.
She's a realist. She's a realist.
Wait, so you didn't like Her? The movie he did called Her?
Oh, when he was in love with Scarlett Johansson's voice?
Yeah.
That movie was so amazing. I love that movie.
Have fun with that one.
Okay, all right.
Hey, good in the Johnny Cash movie.
Have fun on that. That's
good.
Hey, but if you don't think he's a good actor, did you see his earliest works? Did you see him on Superboy, like back in the 80s? You see that meme of him going around? Like that was one of his first acting jobs. He was in the Superboy TV show. He was blonde hair and everything, wearing the outfit and all that.
Are you sure that was not him, or are you sure that's not his brother?
No, it's him. No, it was him.
I mean, everybody got to start somewhere, so I ain't gonna knock him for that. I mean,
I haven't seen that, but I'm saying as an adult, like even as far back as what was that movie with him and Mel Gibson, the Signs, the M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Yeah, that was him. Yeah, that was him.
So,
He was in that.
I mean, and then he was in. I think he was in The Village.
But
Was that another?
Yeah, he might have. He was another.
Yeah, that's more in that genre. It was like.
My thing is this though, like, I'm not gonna knock nobody for working and doing the acting and whatnot, but like, he was really annoying in Gladiator. So
yeah, he was.
I'm gonna hold that against him for a while.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
Like
he was.
Long
yeah, he
while.
was. He was annoying. So
I understand that's what he's supposed to do.
You know,
but doggone it, he was annoying as hell in that movie.
So I'm gonna bring this up. I'm gonna bring this up. And I told this to Elle in the pre-show, and there's no caveat. There's nothing but stone cold hard facts here. So I found it really interesting. Shazam opened this weekend. It pulled in like 50-something million, right?
Shazam opened last week.
I mean, last weekend, excuse me. With 50-something million over its opening weekend, right? So there was some number crunching that was done. You know, cold hard facts. And did you know domestically, since Batman vs. Superman first released, every single DC film since that movie has steadily declined in opening weekend returns? Like, literally. Went from Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, to Wonder Woman, Justice League, to Aquaman, and now to Shazam. They've dropped. Not totally precipitously, but they have dropped. I found it really interesting. It was very fascinating. I don't know necessarily why, but you know, it's just a very fascinating thing that I thought. What do you guys think of that?
I don't know. Everybody likes the MCU. We get it. I mean,
wow.
But that doesn't mean
that's a gross generalization. That is a very gross generalization.
Are you serious right now?
Yes, I am, because Aquaman made $1 billion. Aquaman doesn't make $1 billion if it didn't have legs. If it wasn't a good movie, Wonder Woman doesn't nearly make $1 billion if it didn't have legs and it wasn't good a movie. So I don't want to hear that nonsense.
And to Aquaman's credit, this is the first DCU movie I purchased brand new in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So. Shazam,
bootlegging it?
Oh no! Up
wow.
Yeah. Up to this point, I'm not gonna lie, I have, because, like I said, like Man of Steel is like the only other DCU movie I own, and
confess our crimes on air.
Right.
Hey, I have no problem saying that I own Man of Steel, okay? I own the movie. I haven't bought a DCU movie since then, but Aquaman's been the first since, and it's such a shame because it's been, what, 6 years? Yeah, that's been like 6 years. And that's
Has
like
it been 6 years?
I'm gonna tell you why.
Has it been 6 years since Man of Steel came out? No way.
It was 2013.
Yeah. Wow.
2013.
Wow.
It's been a minute. It's been a little bit.
That's crazy.
Oh, cool
6
glasses.
years.
Cool glasses.
Wait, GQ, what do you got there? What do you got there, GQ?
I got my Stevie Wonder shades on because everybody.
That is dope as hell. I am not gonna lie, that's really dope. That's really dope.
I feel like you about to fight in the alley with Lo Pan somewhere.
There you go.
Yeah.
We from Little China.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope as hell. I ain't gonna front. So, you know,
Stephanie, you absolutely right. The only reason Wonder Woman did good was because of a bunch of horny men.
Oh no, come on, that's not true. That's not true. There's a bunch of feminists that went to see that movie. That's not true.
I like Stephanie. She got them hot takes.
Yeah, she does have hot takes. A lot of hot takes. They're not always right. This one isn't right either. But
you know what? I'm gonna be straight up though. I'm gonna be straight up about Wonder Woman because you notice from Patty Jenkins. I will be 100% honest. She did her thing with that movie. She did a great job with
yes, she did.
Direction and everything. But you notice as soon as Snyder got a hold of them Amazons, them outfits got
a little skimpier. Yep.
All them shots got real low.
Sure did.
It was a bunch of horny men. That's the whole reason.
So you said he's bad as Quentin Tarantino showing women's feet?
Oh wow!
Could be, man. Could be. Wiggle your big toe, man. Wiggle your big toe. Just letting you know.
As Stephanie said in the chat, she says the only reason Wonder Woman did good is because of a bunch of horny men.
Wow, you must be behind about like maybe like 2 minutes or something, because GQ just said that. Just said.
Oh, okay.
That's an interesting. That is an interesting observation, you two.
Right. So anyway, guys, go ahead.
But
go ahead.
All I'm saying is that we get. My take is we get it. Everybody loves the MCU. In DC, Batman versus Superman was not a great movie. Man of Steel was not a great movie.
No, Batman vs Superman was a great movie according to you.
Whatever.
Come on now. No, that was a great movie according to you. Come on.
Justice League I thought was good, but a lot of people didn't like it. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. I think it's just the tide of stuff that's like shifting. Everybody, I think DC's taking a hit for some good movies because we have so many people.
Oh, like Batman vs Superman? Like Batman vs Superman?
Huh? No, she's right. She's right. And can I caveat on her point?
What's up to Tommy in the chat? I'm just going to throw that out there, but go ahead, take your caveat on her point.
Okay, so my caveat on her point is that we're talking about box office sales. Fantastic. Last weekend, I'm sad to say I was sick and I did not leave the house, so I have not seen Shazam yet. So I was one of those people that they would have gotten a sale from, but they didn't. And again, as we talked about earlier, I think box office sales does not mean a film is good or bad.
You know, that's another discussion for another day. And you know, you and I, we can box back and forth on that all day.
But,
so
me and Lee already went a few rounds with that.
Right. So you and I could go back and forth all day.
I'm just saying we can, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Yeah, we're gonna do that one day.
Be like, oh, hey, this movie is fantastic because so many people went to go see it. Or, oh, hey, this movie is really bad because nobody went to go see it. But my thing is, DC films are still suffering because they did have two films that people deemed as unworthy and terrible and shouldn't have been. That's one of them is me. And then another one that had high expectations and kind of failed. So that's Batman versus Superman and Suicide Squad. Not only did they have big names in it, they had high expectations and they didn't meet people's expectations. So the other films that are coming after it are suffering for it because people see those films and put them all together. Just like with Marvel, and you say, hey, they've had a slew of great films, and you see the numbers are here and there or wherever. And people just say, well, it's a Marvel film. It's great.
Okay, period. Hold on. But I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You're missing a part, though. Because Suicide Squad and Batman Superman did about $800 million each, somewhere in that range.
But after what was the question that we're talking about? Afterwards, the films after them are declining.
I know.
Yes, so a lot of folks.
The box office numbers do have something to do with whether or not a film is good or not. Because that
So if that's a fact, then why did they have those numbers? If those were terrible films.
Again, because you had movies that people wanted to see. They saw them. They saw that, like, hey, this ain't quite what I want. And Justice League came out, and his numbers were abysmal. And that movie was terrible.
But Justice League, I think, was better than Batman versus Superman.
Justice League was better than Batman versus Superman, but it still had a ton of problems.
Batman versus Superman, that movie... People, it's like, everybody's like, oh, that movie sucked. But it made so much more money than a movie that was better than it. So, again, to Lena's point, it doesn't really matter what the box office says. It's like, it doesn't make sense.
No, you're wrong. You know what? Hold up. We can't get sidetracked. We got so much more to get to. This is going to be another show. I guarantee it. We are going to have it out about this thing. We're gonna have it out. Let's table this. Yeah.
I'm ready. Come on.
I want to shout out my boy Mike. My boy Mike Pulliam. He's in the chat. Shout out to
Michael Pulliam. Welcome to the show, sir. Thank you.
Mike.
How you doing? Over there hanging out on YouTube. Welcome to the show. So, anyone up? And Hannah Omega just talked about it. Who's Hellboy is getting murdered. I mean, Hellboy is getting murdered by on Rotten Tomatoes. Debuted with 9%.
Ooh,
9%. It's getting murdered.
How much was the original one? How was the score on the original two movies?
I'll have to look that up. I'll look that up. But go ahead, GQ. What were we gonna say?
Realistically, I mean, I still want to see it. I mean, I'm gonna go check it out. And before the black hole emerges and the Event Horizon, shows up on April 25th.
Absolutely.
These movies have a little bit more time, so I'm gonna check them out, see what's going on with them.
Okay.
And because again, Hellboy, Ron Perlman did such a great job with that character. I don't care what anybody says with those first two films. That it's hard to follow up, because even this new guy that's doing it, he's almost like he's trying to sound like Ron Perlman. So it's like, dude, you can't get away from that. And Hellboy, again, he's not one of them characters that that's the first one to jump on. Man, I'm Hellboy, man. I hope they do another Hellboy movie. That's not something a lot of people say. So for them to suddenly just do it, it's like, okay, there's no hype there. People ain't really checking for it like that. They don't care. So yeah, it's probably getting horrible reviews and all that, but the film itself is probably somewhat okay. But doggone it,
we'll definitely have. We'll I know, right? We're about to die. Anyway, so yeah, absolutely. So to answer Super Nerd's question, the first Hellboy in 2004 got 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, positive. The second one, Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, got 86%. Fresh.
So they both were positively reviewed.
And they were both positively reviewed. This one's getting murdered. Debuted with 43 reviews in, 9%. They say it's an absolute train wreck of a comic book movie.
So who's the director? I don't even know who the director of this is.
I will find out.
And hold up, and I would just want to say, I think this is another example of what we just talked about.
Oh, get out of here! Come on, really?
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying everybody associates Hellboy with Ron Perlman and the good job he did in the movies Back in the Gap. Of course, kind of like the same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street. When they got a new Freddy Krueger, that shit was trash. They were saying that was trash too. So like, we're not talking crazy. We talking serious. Now you think about it. Every time they try to reboot a franchise or something like that, you put somebody new in there, they're like, oh, it's gonna be trash. It ain't gonna be nothing, because they still want that old thing back. You know what I'm saying?
So
okay, I'll give her that. I will give her that. I will give her that.
But that Nightmare on Elm Street with Earl Lee, right, or whatever his name is,
Jackie Earl Haley. Yeah,
Jackie Earl Haley was terrible.
And he was a great actor.
Right. Robert Englund is that dude, and everybody was missing Robert Englund, but that movie itself was terrible.
All the movies was trash. Come on, it was new.
What?
Now.
What?
Go back and look at it now. Don't get me wrong. I like those movies, but when you look at them right now in 2019, you like, damn, this is what we was hyped about. But it was new for the time, so it was good then. But I'm saying, if you look at those movies now, you like, really?
I got the Blu-ray box set.
I mean, they're good because it's like nostalgia. It's nostalgia. But I'm saying that's what I think happens to a lot of these movies.
Yeah. I'm gonna say one thing to you real quick, girl. One word of advice, girl. Never sleep again, okay?
Never sleep again. Oh my God. Oh man.
I'm like, y'all understand what I'm trying to say, though, right?
Yeah.
I get you. I get you.
He said about the wrong franchise,
right?
Yeah, I looked up the guy that's directing I think it was Neil Marshall. And his resume isn't really that impressive.
Ooh, see, I go back to what we were saying before about director. If the director and the script ain't
because I think the most notable thing he probably directed in probably like the last 12 years was probably The Descent.
Hey, I actually like that. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
He directed a couple of episodes of Game of Thrones. Like, what are you talking about?
Hey,
he's a good director.
Hey,
I mean, but that's
he does a lot of he does more TV than he does film, but that doesn't mean that he's not a good director. Also,
I'm not saying that, but I'm just talking about like as far as like his full film like resume.
I mean, I hear you, but he's done a lot of good TV shows, so I'm not really like.
So yeah, maybe an episode or two, but I mean, if you're doing like a full length film, like that's different.
If you do two episodes of Game of Thrones, that's basically a film. You do two episodes of Lost in Space. That's a film.
To counter that, the Russos also started in TV.
They did comedy actually. Started comedy.
The Russos.
Look where they're at now.
That's not a counter. That's an agreement.
What are you talking about? That exactly. That helps my point.
But at the same time, they were nerds and they loved Marvel, so they knew what they wanted to do. But as far as
when they went out and made movies, they like consistently made good movies though. Like
Okay, so let me just say this. In the last couple of years, this guy Neil Marshall did Black Sails, Game of Thrones, Constantine, Hannibal, Tales of Halloween, Timeless, Westworld, Lost in Space. That's all before he did Hellboy.
Oh, hold on.
Most of those are really good stuff. Good reviews.
He didn't do no Man and Maniacs though, so he's a loser.
Oh, hush.
So here's my thing. Maybe it's because Hellboy when was the last Hellboy came out? 2 came out like what, 2008? So maybe people won't resonate with it because they're hooked on Marvel movies. So I think they're probably getting so much backlash. Like, who's this guy that had that look like a devil type of thing? So people may not like it. I get it.
But also, to your point, Marcus, Hellboy is Dark Horse Comics.
Exactly.
It's not DC. It's not Marvel. People aren't checking for it. And also, as we have said in other shows, the movie hasn't come out yet. It comes out this Friday. Meanwhile, on Rotten Tomatoes, people are crying about it already.
But that goes back to what you said. People may not even know that's a comic book movie. They just think it's something that just came up. So
I think the people who are doing these comments and stuff on Rotten Tomatoes do.
Well, you know what? You know what? They probably are.
Wait. Stephanie is saying no one can ever replace the greats such as Christopher Reeve as Superman, Michael Keaton as Batman. I beg to differ. Henry Cavill can do a good Superman if he gets the right material or the right direction.
I agree. I totally agree with that.
Atkins would be an amazing Batman.
Oh, here we go again. Here we go again. He couldn't wait to bring that up. He couldn't wait to bring it up. Yeah, he couldn't wait to bring it up. Yeah, he couldn't wait to bring that up. So anyway, guys. So we got a lot to get to.
Oh, she got you though. Stephanie got you. She's my new favorite commenter right now. Stephanie with the shade already.
Stephanie is a favorite. Stephanie gets the comment of the day.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen Fifth Element yet, sir?
And it's on
Stephanie,
Netflix.
You have won the internet today.
So last night, this past weekend, we had WrestleMania happen. And Kofi Kingston was awarded the WWE Championship. And honestly, it was kind of a watershed moment because Kofi Kingston is the first 100%. He's the first champion of African descent, not black. Just he's the first one of actual African descent to win the championship. So that was kind of a big thing. But it was also a big night for the women's division. They featured very prominently in the show. So I kind of wanted to get some of you guys' thoughts on WrestleMania as an event and other elements. Yeah, go ahead, Super Nerd.
I didn't know WrestleMania was even. I mean, I saw the thing, but I didn't know who was on the card. I had to go to Instagram and look at somebody's story that was actually at WrestleMania, and they showed Triple H and Batista going at it. I'm like, yo, I did not know that was happening. I want to. I
went and saw Shazam that weekend.
I like your
Is The Rock not a black descent? I'm confused.
No.
Kofi is actually like his lineage or
his lineage is from Ghana. He's a first generation.
Right.
Yeah, he's a first generation
black person. I was just like, wait.
People are getting way deep in their feelings about this whole Rock. The Rock doesn't claim his black side. Whatever, man.
Man, that jump was driving me crazy. That jump was driving me crazy.
He can't be held accountable the way Vince marketed the company, man.
Right.
Hey, listen. Rock had all the weaknesses.
Did y'all forget this man was in Nation Domination for like 2 years?
I said the wrong way.
Yeah, you did.
He has all the strengths and all the weaknesses.
Right. Batista made himself part of the "Remember to Fall In" meme when he tripped on the way into the ring.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. So is that why he retired? Is that why he retired after the match? Because he couldn't live that down? I'm just saying.
Anyway, okay. You know what's funny though? Like he literally, because I was over at Big Pimp Jay's house in Chicago watching it, and like we were watching it, and it's like, dude, he tripped into the ring. That's hilarious. It's like that ring rust is real. And then like so what he does is he gets out of the ring, you know, walks over, beats with a couple fans or whatever, just, you know, for the sake of like, you know, protecting character. And then he literally walks around the ring until his music basically resets almost to that exact moment for the edit. Because I think the producers literally said, waste time, we'll keep your music going, and then get back in the ring right around the same time. And I think that's what the edit is going to be. I think.
Wow, that's hilarious.
I'm dead serious because
I don't doubt it.
They were watching it. We were just like, dude, why's he stop? Oh, that's where they're going to make it.
Wow, that's hilarious though.
Back around, all you got to do is show him, you know, come down the ramp, get back to that point. He comes up the steps, take two, basically. He literally did a take two on, you know, live on WrestleMania. I was like, this is hilarious.
That's funny. That's really funny.
But yeah, so I mean, overall, it is what it is. When it comes to WrestleMania, it's you know that damn show was 7 hours long.
Oh my god!
Not including the pre-show. That bad boy was long.
Oh my god! No way.
But what I thought was cool though, I like how they let the women close the show out. That was awesome.
They closed the show. That's interesting.
They had never done that in 35 years or whatever it's been of WrestleManias. They had never done that before. Let the women be the full outright main event.
Yeah.
Who won the main event?
Becky Lynch.
Right on. The man.
Becky Lynch. Yeah.
Man. The redhead.
Who's it? Becky Lynch and who?
It was
Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey.
Charlotte
Flair.
And Charlotte Flair.
And Ronda Rousey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Ronda's been doing good over there.
She's been doing all right.
About to retire. Right.
Yeah,
she's not retired. She's about to leave because she could have a child.
Really?
So is she pregnant already?
Nah, come on, dude. They wouldn't let her wrestle.
Yes, I'm just pregnant. Yes.
Hey, look! Gal Gadot filmed Wonder Woman. She was pregnant. I don't want to hear.
She was like, wouldn't like Awesome Kong like pregnant for a minute, or was it what happened?
That's why Awesome Kong quit, because she found out she was pregnant. Because the angle was she was going to come in and wreck shop, and then she broke down in tears in the middle of the ring, and then left because she found out like earlier that day that she was pregnant. She was like, I can't. I'm done. I'm retiring. I'm quitting. Or whatever.
Wow. What about Triple H and Batista?
Dude,
who cares?
That Triple H and Batista match was way too long. I'm just going to straight up.
Dude, look, every Triple H match. Like every Triple H match, like at WrestleMania to this point, is always long-winded, dude. It's like the same pacing for like the last 7 years.
Can't go like you used to be able to go. I'm just, you know, it's like
it's the AARP match. Come on, give it
exactly.
I ain't gonna lie, my dad loves Triple H. Like it's the only when he came out, that's probably the only newest wrestler he liked because we used to watch wrestling when I was a kid.
He didn't even like The Rock. What is this?
He stopped like watching after that. But when he saw Triple H, he said, "Man, Triple H out cold." He always loved Triple H.
Here's the thing about Triple H. Here's why I like Triple H, because a lot of people don't like him. They're like, "Oh, he held people down. He did this. He did that." It's like whatever. Backstage politics. It is what it is. Ask Hogan. But it's like straight up, that dude. Like he put his dues in. I don't care that he married Stephanie, whatever. That we all know that. But when it comes down to what he's doing with the NXT brand and his is outright like, come on now. The dude finished a match when his quad muscle ripped off of the bone and rolled up his leg, and he still finished the match. I don't care how much of a heel he was. That was his job, was to make us hate him. So I don't care. I got respect for somebody that can do that. Anybody that works through the pain, like on that level, dude, whatever.
Booker T could have been the first black champion, not for him. I'm standing by that.
I don't really care though.
You know what? It ain't nobody held no other wrestler down worse than Hulk Hogan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't want to hear it. You know. So anyway, what about some of the other?
I've never really been that big Hogan fan anyway.
Right. So a lot of people are saying that the WrestleMania show was weak overall, and New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor had a show in New York over the weekend as well, and they're saying like some of the stuff that came out of there, because Enzo Amore and Big Cass showed up and was like causing a lot of trouble in there. So is this just a case of the WWE's brand kind of weakening, because they don't really have, because look at Kofi, right? Kofi Kingston, has been in the business for 11 years, right?
Yep,
roughly,
yeah. So he's been in the business for 11 years. He's always kind of been of a high flyer and excitable guy, but he never really had the personality to be able to carry the brand. And now that he won the WWE Championship, even after I heard about it, yeah, it's great and all, but can you see him being a Rock level, a Stone Cold level, hell, even a CM Punk level? No, I just don't see it. Maybe I'm missing something.
Does he have to be like them though? Like,
yes,
is that the standard for
yes,
wrestlers?
Actually,
like,
see.
Yeah, I've always thought The Rock was great because I had this huge thing for The Rock back in the day, and Stone Cold has always been fun. Mm-hmm. But I've never been like, well, I need somebody who's just like The Rock, or I need somebody who's just like Stone Cold, or I just need some, like, I think that it's better to have wrestlers that are not like that. They don't always have to be the same persona all the time, or copy what we've seen in the past.
Okay,
because I think that's how it gets boring, and I think that's why it's been boring, because they've been trying to do that for so long.
See, the thing is with that is when you're like basically carrying the title, which is like the flagship of the company, the thing is a lot of times you have to be able to have like a somewhat universal appeal a lot of time. Not saying Kofi couldn't, but because he's sort of been stuck in this like section of wrestling for so long, it's like I can't see him like really like going up into that crossover appeal status. Not saying that he can't. He very well could, but it's because like how he's been like his position in the company for so long. It's like even with again, like you had guys like The Rock that had crossover appeal. You had guys like Stone Cold or whatever. Triple H sort of had the crossover appeal, but would still like relegated to wrestling.
You know who I remember them saying that about? It's not even somebody I like, but they said that about John Cena.
And it's still somewhat true.
It's still somewhat true.
But somehow he made it though that he was, granted, where it messed up for him, in my opinion, is where he tried to be more like do what The Rock or what Stone Cold and what Triple H and all them, like when he tried to change his persona to that instead of doing the stuff that, which I've never been a big John Cena fan, but when he was doing his own personality, it was different from everybody else's and he was coming up, that was great. But when he had to be like, as you guys say, this crossover appeal, which I guess I don't understand what you mean by that, but he still carried the brand for long enough without falling into, he was still his own, he had his own vision and plan.
See what I mean by crossover appeal. What I mean by crossover appeal is that you have guys who will be able to bring eyes to the product that weren't initially wrestling fans. So even as much as we talk about Hulk Hogan or whatever, he was least like that crossover appeal that brought extra eyes onto wrestling for like a good significant time. So did Rock and so did Stone Cold.
How does Kofi not have that?
I'm not saying that he necessarily doesn't. I'm just not sure if they'll build him up to where he does. Just because he has the strap right now doesn't mean it can happen. It just means that they just threw the man a bone after like 10 years.
Yeah, I don't think they will though. I don't think they will.
I mean,
I'm gonna tell you why, because you can't tell me from 20 to 30 to 40, 50, everybody's walking around giving each other rock bottoms and what's
Stone Cold Stunners,
Stone Cold Stunners. So that's what
pedigrees.
Pedigrees. So it's like those moveset alone is why they propelled to where they at, because those moveset. Still to the day, I'd be at work walking up to people like, I'm gonna stun your ass. bam, just catch me off guard, you know? And they know what it is. I mean, if he had a signature move that people that they can do on a daily basis, even back in high school, I remember me and Megashawn would walk up into each other all day and rock bottom each other. Just that's what we did.
I mean, do we need folks to going around rock bottoming? Like, do we need that?
Yeah, that's actually part of the appeal for the young boys.
No,
yeah,
I'm joking.
Like, okay, here's the thing. You guys are talking about wrestling in a very old style, though. You're talking about wrestling, you know, when a lot of us were younger. You had the Attitude Era, obviously. Stone Cold and The Rock were on top. Triple H was, you know, being like the best heel that he could be. And you had a lot of major personalities. Undertaker to this day is still my favorite, one of my favorite wrestlers, just out of the fact that I like the character and the fact that he's been able to just kind of morph and change the character over all this time. But when it comes down to a lot of the newer talent, obviously you got your high flyers. Kofi is in that category. One of the things that the reason that Kofi can get the strap, as they call it, or the belt, or the championship, the title, whatever you want to label it, is the fact that obviously he's been there busting his ass for all these years and doing his thing. But it's also in a very big and important part of wrestling and getting over is obviously the crowd is behind him. It's essentially the same thing that happened with Daniel Bryan. 4 years ago. The crowd got behind him, and it's like, dude, you ain't got no choice. This is the guy that people are really behind. They're really into. They're buying all his merch, and that's a real big part of it because the New Day, along with Kofi, they're some of the highest sellers of merch. John Cena might still be up there pretty heavy, but obviously he stepped away, become more of a part-timer. But those merch sales on New Day is insane. They've had a cereal. They've had like all this just crazy stuff.
They marketed the hell out of the New Day.
Right. When you're pushing that much merch and you can just on the drive, you saw you guys, I don't know how many of you guys actually watched it live or watched it. They had new merch ready to go the moment he won that belt. They had new shirts ready. They had his belt already basically ready. It's like, so that dude is like, I'm telling you. So Kofi is he's gonna have it probably for about 2 months, just to be realistic, like storyline wise. He'll probably carry it for about 2 months or whatever. But part of the reason they gave him that title is the fact that he and his group do such big numbers on merch, and the crowd just loves them, whether they're heels or not. That was the thing. The whole point of putting the New Day together originally was almost like a deal and a dare. I can't remember. Not Ezekiel. Excuse me. There's Biggie Langston, there's Kofi, and I can't remember the third guy's name right offhand. Xavier Woods. Thank you. Xavier Woods. He basically sat down with Vince and said, "Hey, I want to put this group together. Here's my idea. Here's my concept, and it's going to work. And if it doesn't work, I'll quit. You know, I'll leave or whatever." And he was like, I will get Kofi Kingston, who people still love to this day. I'll get people to boo him and hate him and whatever. It'll be that good of a thing. And that's how it went. So It's just one of those things when it comes down to wrestling, especially the way it is in this quote unquote reality era where kayfabe, or, you know, keeping like the thought that everybody hates each other is gone, because everybody, dude, they're hanging out on social media, they're going on trips and road trips and stuff.
Yeah, but it's almost impossible to do kayfabe nowadays.
Exactly. So it's like you have this whole situation where it's like, dude, new people are going to get into those spots, and different people are going to get into those spots because Vince is getting older. Triple H's NXT is blowing up and it's great. So it's like, dude, you gotta kind of rethink this whole, you know, you need another real big dude to be the champ, because it's not always the case. People like who they like.
Hold up a second.
You saying that, GQ, just really quick, just with you saying that, GQ, me and my friend actually have a debate with who's really going to take over the company when Vince finally steps down. And my boy, like really believes like you did, Triple H is gonna take over, but like part of me feels like he's gonna put Stephanie in charge when he steps down.
Listen,
and keep it in the family.
I'm gonna tell you why. Vince McMahon has a
He's gonna die like first and then leave it to Stephanie.
No, he has a chamber like Walt Disney somewhere in the freezer. He's gonna freeze his body.
Really? Oh man, that's hilarious. No. So
I just have one question.
Yeah.
I just have one question.
What's the question?
Yes.
Is Kofi still using that fake Jamaican accent or whatever that was?
Oh, no, he stopped that.
No, he stopped that. Yeah, no, he stopped that. No, he stopped that years ago.
They stopped that year.
Full of a segment.
So yeah, so our boy Tommy's in the chat, and he's all calling us all kinds of adorable and casuals, talking about wrestling right now.
He has.
Yeah. So but I was laughing also. GQ because our boy Tony Young is in the chat over on YouTube, and she was like, "Wait, is that a busty Michelle Obama sitting behind GQ in a Harley Quinn shirt?" He's looking at the picture of Kim behind your head. Yeah, hilarious.
Archives of game. Watch some episodes.
Yeah, watch some episodes of the game. You'll find them on there. Absolutely. So, but Tommy's gonna move to Japan next month, and in a way, I kind of envy him for moving to Japan, because Japan's probably is a really cool thing. But like Stephanie just put in the chat, next subject. Let's move on. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is
she's done with wrestling already,
right? So the other thing that kind of dropped over the weekend while we were gone is Netflix announced their cast for Cowboy Bebop, and it's being led by John Cho as obviously as Spike, which honestly I didn't see that coming. But also Mustafa Shakir as is going to be Jet. And Mustafa Shakir as he was Bushmaster. He was Bushmaster in Luke Cage season 2. And I had never seen the guy before, never seen him act before, but I am not going to lie. I loved him in Luke Cage season 2. So I thought he was great.
I think
Amazing.
I think people are gonna go, why you gotta be Jet Black?
Yeah. And given his skin tone, that's exactly what they gonna say.
Really, guys?
No,
really?
I think of these weird things.
Think about that, man. God.
People are weird nowadays. They think they'll take everything out of context. The
They
brother
will.
is a good actor, no matter what. I think he's a
he is.
for the character.
He absolutely is. He absolutely is.
You know what? We time stepping that. It's going to be a meme.
I am disturbed.
As soon as they drop photo images.
Oh yeah. His name is Jet Black. They racist. Why do they call him Jet Black?
See how viral it gets.
I'm disturbed. I wasn't even thinking about that.
But it's okay for a white American actor to be Asian, but a white dude, a black dude playing a character named Jet Black. Oh my God! Ooh. Oh, the craziness is gonna happen.
Oh, hilarious!
First they make L Black, now Jet. This is ridiculous.
Tony Young saying loud hotep noises incoming. But no, you know what? Let's put all kidding aside. No, Miayen was extremely happy about this news. She's been waiting for it for forever.
Cheergasm everywhere.
So please go ahead and talk about it. Why are you excited?
Well, basically, I'm excited because one,
she turned her mic off. That's amazing. She turned her mic off.
No silence.
I'm so sorry, y'all can't even hear it.
Cowboy Bebop is my favorite anime. And ouch.
Wow.
Oh, I'm just
You're
too excited. Like you
got you beyond feelings. It got you just completely messed up over there. It's like Henry Cavill walked in the room or something.
Right.
All that wouldn't happen if he came over there. Idris.
Wait a minute. Stop. Didn't you say you used to dream
Don't
about?
be telling all my business. So anyway. Don't be telling all my business. So Jet Black, I am so excited because like you guys already said, he was so good in he was so good in Luke Cage season 2, and if you haven't seen American Gods in the last episode 5, he is also in that episode, and he is amazing as well.
Of course.
So I'm just like, they picked the right guy. And I mean, also, who doesn't like John Cho? Who doesn't like John Cho? I grew up with Harold and Kumar. Like, I mean, I think I'm interested to see how he transforms into Spike, but
Jim.
Rude. Spike is the only guy.
That's not rude. Wait, who's playing Faye though?
I don't know the actress name, but I know
her name is Daniela Padilla.
She's Spanish or is she Mexican? Yeah. I believe.
Latino, man. Can't you just say Latino? Can't you just say Latino?
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Man.
She's actually Mexican American.
Thank you.
Wait, Daniela Panita?
Mm-hmm.
Panita.
Now,
sorry.
Now, see, and Hand of Omega actually brought this up. He was saying that in the anime, how Faye was not Asian, but he's pretty sure that Spike was not Asian, but Faye was, and they went way out of their way this time to make Cowboy Bebop really multicultural. Like, I don't think there's a white person in the main cast. Is that right? Did they even announce Ed? Did they even announce Ed at all?
No, yeah, I think so. You know they're gonna have to cast Ed correctly, otherwise they're gonna be like at the center of scrutiny if they don't cast Ed right.
And Ian is gonna be a husky, not a corgi.
Because the thing is, the reason why is because Edward comes off as like a non-binary character. So the thing is, with that being the thing nowadays in TV shows, like if they remotely cast wrong, it's like, oh my God, they are, gender biased or whatever. You know how like the internet is nowadays.
I think they'll be okay. However, so far looking at the cast, I think they've already thought about that, and I think they'll be okay.
I don't know.
I mean, like I said, just for their sake, I hope so, because we know how the internet gets nowadays.
Right. Yep. We saw when Pikachu started talking.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they missed the perfect opportunity to cast Priyanka Chopra as Faye. So I don't know what they was thinking.
I love her, but I'm just like I like it better than this person that I don't really know a lot about.
No.
Don't forget about the villain.
Well, they said she might end up being in Priyanka Chopra might be coming to the MCU at some point soon. There's rumors that she might be up for a role in a future MCU project.
In the Eternals, maybe?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We still talking about Cowboy Bebop. She brought up. I mean, he brought up Priyanka Chopra. And I'm sorry.
I'm just being the best.
All right, so yeah, some people are saying who is going to be Vicious. I don't think we know that yet. But
the actor, they got the actor. I don't know his name. Let me look it up because
it's something. It's like Skip. What is it? Alex Hassel.
No,
yeah, Alex Hassel. That's what it is.
So I don't know. That might be interesting though. But I mean, I'm looking forward to it so far. I mean, Netflix has been putting out some pretty, decent stuff as of late.
And just to say, Alex Hassel is a white guy, so they put one in there. Like it's not like they just
as the villain. As the villain, watch it. Watch the outrage. Watch the outrage.
It's a token white guy playing the black.
Play the bad guy, right?
Welcome to 2019.
He's British. He's British. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
He'll get a pass.
He'll get the accent and play it, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll get the pass.
I don't see what the big damn deal is.
What? I'm just saying, you know how they are. You know how they are.
See, an American white person can't be a villain versus a multicultural cast, but if he's British, he's fine.
He'll get the pass.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he'll get the pass.
I don't live in the same America y'all do, apparently. I don't know what's going on.
Hold on. Outside of my man that used to be on Dukes of Hazzard playing the villain that he plays on that Tyler Perry show, what other American plays a really good villain?
You know what?
None.
We're not even going to talk about that guy on that Tyler Perry show.
What was the question?
John Schneider. Love that guy. The old Jonathan Kent from Smallville. Yes, absolutely.
The whole cast of Friends. I don't know.
What?
What?
None of what? None of them have been villains. What are you talking about?
Right. Outside
I
of,
thought
like,
the whole
Jennifer
show was
Aniston-
about villains.
outside
Wow.
of Jennifer Aniston being like
No,
in
just
horrible
kidding.
bosses, too.
Yeah.
There's not very many good American actors that play villains very well.
Right.
That guy from
Not
Smallville.
seen
Lex
Gene
Luthor from
Hackman.
Smallville.
Not since Gene
Michael Rosenbaum.
Michael
Oh no, you forgot about the Kingpin.
Oh, Vincent D'Onofrio. Yeah, that's true.
Vincent D'Onofrio
been
is
back and
good.
forth for a long time. It's like he can play anything.
Oh, what about what's his name? He played
He was a
Negan,
villain on the-
and he played the comedian.
Oh,
He's from
Dean Morgan.
Pennsylvania.
Jeffrey Dean
Jeffrey
Morgan.
Dean Morgan. He's from Pennsylvania.
Irish. What are you talking about?
See, he's been kind of back and forth too,
Yeah.
man. It's like I
Is
can't like.
he?
He's been back and forth between like protagonist and antagonist. over the years.
D'Onofrio is Italian and freaking whatchamacallit. Who was the other first person y'all said? The first person?
I said Gene Hackman. I don't know who else anybody says.
No, we said Michael Rosenbaum. Michael Rosenbaum.
Michael Rosenbaum is from the UK, dude. Sorry.
What?
Really?
Is he really?
Actually,
No,
he
he's
has
not.
a law office in Michigan.
Huh?
Wow, really?
Yeah,
That's not really him. That's not really him.
that's not really
not
him.
really
You don't
him.
think it is? Trust
No,
me.
it's not really him.
They
I
met him.
misspoke. Jeffrey
No, he
Dean
does.
Morgan is from Seattle. He's not from Pennsylvania.
No,
He has a law office in Michigan. He's a lawyer.
John Glover.
He's not.
John Glover is also American.
Hold on, did you, Stephanie? Did you really put Alexander?
Senator Skarsgård. Look at his last name.
Skarsgård.
That's villain all. That has villain written all over it.
That dude is German or Holland or something.
What about
You know what?
American?
You know the only reason she said that.
Swedish.
Listen, the only reason Stephanie said that is because she's a True Blood fan and she loved Eric. That's all. That's the only reason she said that. Only reason she said that. I do love him though.
It's a good show.
Great show. Yes.
Yeah, everybody says high marks about that show.
Dude, Eric made that show. Eric made that show. I am not kidding.
What?
Eric made that show.
No.
Season 1 and 2, and
No.
then you have Alcide, whatchamacallit's husband. He made
Alcide,
like
Alcide and Joe Manganiello probably made it for a lot of women.
No, there was so many great people in that show. You guys are bugging.
Is Joe Manganiello still gonna be Deathstroke, or is that like canceled?
He better be. I hope he is.
I mean,
That man, that'd be awesome.
who
At this point, we don't even know. Like,
Right.
everything is quiet on that front. Like, we
Right.
don't know
What about
what's
Kevin
going
Spacey?
on.
He's a good villain.
No, he took the boys.
He became a villain in real life, so we're not even gonna touch that.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
like he took method acting a step too far, didn't he? Just a little bit.
Even if Kevin Spacey was American, he's Antarctican now, so we can't really.
Right, he's a
Yes.
diddler.
Yes.
Ed Harris, somebody mentioned End of Omega said Ed Harris. I think that's a good call. Ed Harris.
Harris?
Ed
Harris is
Ed
good.
Harris American?
Have you seen
didn't know
Just
that.
Cause?
I mean, he is, but I don't know.
That's
Like,
even
well, even though he
Trying to make
plays,
all these American people
even though
like
if
not
he-
be American.
even when he does play somewhat like an antagonist, he still has like a trustworthy face though. It's just like,
What?
Right.
Ed Harris?
think about all the roles he's played over the years. Like, he very rarely plays an antagonist role.
No.
No, absolutely not. Ed Harris always looks like he's up to no good, even when he's on the red carpet.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Wasn't Ed Harris the villain in some movie opposite like Liam Neeson?
Ed Harris? I don't remember that.
Because there wasn't a movie where I think it was.
No, it was Viggo.
Was it a recent movie?
It was Viggo.
Viggo Mortensen.
Well, he
Viggo
definitely.
Mortensen.
What movie are you talking about?
The movie where Viggo Mortensen was like the thug, and he was like trying to play a suburban guy that owned a restaurant, and Ed Harris kept coming in the
History of
restaurant and he had
Violence?
scar on his face.
Oh,
That was
wait, it's
No. This one came out. maybe
Also,
about-
Viggo Mortensen is from New York.
I just looked it up. Oh, no, you got it. Run all night. That was it. Run all night. It was Liam Neeson and Ed Harris. That was it.
Thank you. 'Cause he was a mob boss or something, and
Yep.
I think Liam Neeson killed his son.
Yep.
So that was the whole.
And he was
premise of-
running. And he was
Yeah.
running from him. Yep.
And I'm sorry, but Liam Neeson, love him to death. I don't care about what he said about whatever he said. That's fine. But go back and watch Taken 3 and watch that man climb over a fence. Because
what's Dark Man?
Yo, that was on cable not too long ago, actually.
there was about 15 cuts of him just climbing over this fence, and they change the camera and go, "You thought you was in the middle of an action sequence." I'm like, "What the hell? He's just climbing over a fence, man." They had at least 15
He was being chased by the police, though. makes a difference.
But they had 15 different camera cuts for this man to climb over.
I actually heard that movie had like a lot of really bad cuts in that movie.
Yeah.
20 minutes. That's why.
Also, can we say Angelina Jolie because she plays a good villain?
In what?
In what movie?
Maleficent.
Oh my god.
Y'all fell right for that. Y'all feel right for that.
Hey, Maleficent is still one of my favorite characters of all time, though. Disney did their thing with her.
Because she looks awesome. She looks absolutely awesome. She does.
Because she can turn into a damn dragon.
Yeah.
Because she can turn into a dragon. I'm sorry.
That was cool. So
we just ready for her to be in the MCU now. That's all.
Right. So we are. So the next topic we're going to talk about is speaking of the MCU. Before we get to the main topic, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to our page, but I actually did a bunch of some of our favorite moments from the MCU from Phase 1. I touched on Iron Man, I touched on Incredible Hulk, touched on Iron Man 2, Captain America, and the first Thor movie. So I wanted to ask you guys, what were some of your other moments that kind of stood out to you guys?
Within Phase 1?
Within Phase 1, just Phase 1 only, because we're in the marathon week. So what were some other movies moments that stood out?
I figured we were stuck within Phase 1.
Damn it!
Damn it. Honestly, we're talking about the whole Phase 1. I mean, you haven't gotten to. I don't think you got to like Avengers yet, but the first assemble scene will always get me. I'm sorry.
Well, see, that's what I consider.
That one down.
What'd you say?
So somebody wanted to vote that one down.
She sure did. She sure did.
And
she sure did.
Stand by my statement.
But you're wrong, though. But you're wrong, though.
Like, what? All right, Lena, going to be wrong, though.
Wait, hold on, wait.
Wrong.
Let's give me let's give it a floor. Okay, we're gonna be objective.
No, I'm saying I voted it down because that's not a moment for me. And it was my moment, and it's not a moment for me.
What's a moment for you then? Like I like to hear. You're next. What's your
don't put me on stage. I didn't ask to take the mic. I didn't ask to take the mic. Y'all go on about that, but I need to collect my thoughts really quick because I don't remember half of Phase 1.
She don't like getting put on the spot. How about that? She don't like getting put on the spot. That's hilarious.
I wasn't being put on the spot, but I did have to defend. Yes, I stand by my statement. Because I know what I don't like. Let's just say that. I know what I don't like. I know it's not one of my favorites. And that wasn't one of my favorite moments.
The single greatest moment in the entirety of Phase 1, and she votes it down because that's not her moment. Get out of here.
It's not the single greatest moment for me.
Whatever. But I did want to ask what all of you guys
go on because Elle has something to say.
Wait a minute, stop. Does Elle even have any good moments from the MCU? Because I thought she was so in the tank. But she's so in the tank for BVS. I didn't know she paid attention to the Marvel MCU.
Don't do her like that.
All right.
Come on.
I'll give you some credit. Like, what was your favorite moment?
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, guys.
I mean, there's a lot of good. I think one of my favorite out of Phase 1 with all of those movies, because I'm finna say some stuff that y'all know y'all not gonna like. Because the Incredible Hulk, that's trash. That was trash to me.
Oh, dog! Oh no! Oh no! Wow. Go ahead.
I think I have voiced this many times before. I did not like that Incredible Hulk movie. That one could have stayed out.
But you know what? You're not alone. You're not alone. She's not alone in that. A lot of people didn't.
Yeah, she's not. She's not. Like it's. I don't know. I think it's more like 45-55 with that movie. I think. At least that's how I look at it. But you know.
What's your moment? Go ahead, please.
Go ahead.
What was your moment?
I think if I have to pick one, just one.
Yeah, just one. Yeah, just one.
If I have to pick just one, it was going to be when Mark Ruffalo turned into the Hulk and he says, "I'm always angry." Like
that's not bad. That's not bad.
That whole phase.
Okay, it's not bad. Hey, that's not bad though.
That's a fair one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What about you, Fallen Marvel? What's your standout favorite? Oh yeah, you already gave yours.
I already said.
Yeah, you already gave yours. Super Nerd, what was yours? What was your standout favorite moment?
I can go two, but can I do two?
One. Don't cheat. Just one.
Okay, so the main one that stood out the most, and that even seeing Iron Man on the big screen the first time. But remember the part where he was in that third world country and they shot the rocket at him and he dodged and he's like, my turn. Man, that was a cold part. Me personally.
You talking about when he was in the Mark 1?
Yeah, the my turn line is the Mark 1. Not when he shot the rocket. That was the Mark 3 out.
Well, no. Remember the one when he was like, my turn, right? That's he had the
that was when
that was
when he came out of the cave in Mark 1. He didn't shoot a missile.
Yeah.
Like that was like he just had like 2 long range flamethrowers.
What was the one? No. What was the one when he dodged it?
That was Mark 3.
The Mark 3. Okay, the Mark 3. That one.
Yeah, he just shot.
I could have sworn he said something.
He shot the missile and walked away.
Oh, he did? Okay. Well, that scene I thought was cold as hell in my opinion because, like I said, I got to see the original Iron Man suit and the Mark III for the first time, and I was like, it looks amazing. And because I'm a big Iron Man fan, and seeing that, I'm like, they doing it, damn it, they doing it. They actually put this together. So, in my opinion, that was like the best shit to me, seeing that and him about to just wreck shit.
Hey, now see, and that's why I made that one of the videos, because that was by far to me probably one of the best moment in the movie was when he first completely suited up in the Mark III. That was pretty dope. Even though some people tried to ding me on a technicality, saying that technically it wasn't the first time that he suited up, but whatever. He knew what I meant. You know what I meant, damn it. You know what I meant. So anyway, what was your favorite moment from Phase 1 MCU, GQ?
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of torn between Thor getting blue balls trying to lift a hammer when he couldn't, and possibly, I don't know. Realistically, like the first time seeing him put the Mark II armor on, I thought that was cool as hell because what they did was they gave you that long, slow reveal. It's like they had him checking out a surface, like, you know, panels and all this other stuff, and they finally do that spiral shot showing him like in the all silver armor. It just looks sweet. That was really cool. But from that same movie, though, my main actual moment was Nick Fury showing up in the end credit scene, because it was like, oh, they really are about to do something bigger than big. Like they ain't even playing around. They're like, we're going to talk about the Avengers Initiative. That to me was like, holy shit. They're not playing. They're actually going to do some big, huge crossover of something. And then it became real when later that same summer, you see Robert Downey Jr., not like, you know, random stuntman actor fill-in, walk into the end of the Hulk movie. And it's just like, oh, they're really, really doing it. This is going to be amazing. So I think that, to me, the first couple of end credit sequences, realistically for me, I know it's not one moment, but those, just seeing it all being tied together like that, that was like I don't know, I think that was the defining thing for Phase 1 for me. So mainly I would really go back to the Nick Fury thing. Just seeing Nick Fury blow up like
Still
that.
My biggest regret is not staying at the end credits when I first saw Iron Man.
Oh, man. Oh, man. No. I got the tip ahead of time. I got the tip ahead of time. I wasn't going to miss it. So anyway, Chastian Cowens is in the chat, and she said, I asked her what her favorite moment was, and she was talking about what Jeff Bridges said to Tony Stark in the first movie. He's like, "Isn't it ironic, Tony?" You know, that was her favorite moment. You know, Jeff Bridges really hammed it up as Obadiah Stane. And honestly, I loved him. Awesome. I loved him in that movie. I did.
He was awesome.
The best part of that movie with him was Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with scraps. Yeah, that was great.
I'm sorry. Jeff Bridges is the only man in the world that can roll up on a Segway and make that shit look cool.
Right?
That cigar in his mouth. I was like, dude, I don't even like these things, but he made it look cool as hell. And he just walked over there. Like, my man was on the phone and everything. Because it's like,
I don't know. Like, Jeff Bridges is like the only other, like, coolest white dude besides, what's my man's name?
Sam Rockwell?
Sam Rockwell.
Not Sam, damn it. Why did I forget his name that fast? Damn it. Now I'm going to have to go back.
Jeff Goldblum.
Sam Elliott.
Well, Sam Elliott, thank you.
Sam Elliott's Thunderbolt Ross was awesome. He was like the only thing good about that movie, really, to me.
Here's the thing. Jeff Bridges, I hate to break it to you, as great a villain as he was, that man is from Scandinavia. So, I mean, I can't really, you know, I can't really put him in there.
Oh my god.
So.
Scandinavia. Come on, man. Really?
I'm tired of it.
Mialian, what was your last? So what was your favorite MCU Phase 1 moment? What was yours?
I think it was with Loki, because most of mine center around Loki. So probably when,
okay.
Yeah, for Phase 1. Okay. Probably the one when he came to Earth and he basically made everybody bow for him.
Oh,
okay. Oh, the whole the Neo.
You mean that scene that was supposed to be filmed in downtown Detroit, and we could have actually been there? Because
but if it wasn't for our idiot governor, ruining things,
that makes me so mad. They were
I know, right?
House downtown Detroit. I would have been there. I would have been kneeling like a mother. I'd be like, oh, hey, hell yeah.
I said no. Yeah.
It's just that whole thing, because it showed like his kind of like power a little bit, because he went from just being normal to his whole suit, and I thought that was cool.
Just the like grandiose thing about him, and
So that's my favorite.
Okay, that's all right. That's fair. That's fair.
You're a Loki fan. That's what it is.
I am a Loki fan.
She is.
She's unabashed with it. She ain't got no qualms with saying it.
One of them Loki helmets to wear.
Yeah, but you know what?
Gladly would.
One of those Loki helmets would be dope as hell to have. Like, no, I'm just so mad. Loki always wears like his helmet, his hats, and stuff like that. They never let Thor do it, which I thought was the stupidest cop out ever. Yeah, for like wore once, and that was one of my moments. That was one of my moments.
Obviously going for the ultimate Thor throughout the rest of the series.
No, go ahead, GQ. What was the reason why?
That helmet looks dumb. I'm just gonna let y'all know that straight up. Like, no, because when I saw him wear it, I'm like, okay, they finally got it in there, so everybody can shut up about it.
Right.
But dude, you can watch it. Just go back and watch that again with him going through Asgard. Swinging the hammer, throwing the hammer around with that big old helmet on with them silver wings. It just looks cheesy. I'm just letting y'all know, Loki.
Yeah.
Because I think it goes better with his whole thing. But for Thor, he already has so much going on that I think it's cumbersome.
I think that was one of those things that didn't translate as well as like the Loki helmet, because like the Loki helmet kind of just worked with his whole thing with wanting to be king with the cape and the staff and all of that, and Thor just had the hammer, and just like it's like the helmet would have been distracting, in hindsight. So
you have the helmet, you got I'm sorry, they nailed it with the cape. The cape looks so freaking perfect. Like whatever that shade of red is, whatever that material is.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
It was on point.
So I'm like, the helmet would have just been too much. I'm like, dude, really? You just trying to get all the attention. This is all of it. Just
no.
Yeah, it would have been good though. But I hope they they let him do it, maybe, because I got absolutely tricked into looking at a still from Endgame, and the newest Iron Man armor looks so much like his classic his classic armor with the gold arms and the gold legs. I hope they do the same thing with Thor. Maybe they'll even let Cap have the wings on his head, which honestly I think would look pretty stupid. But I'm just saying. It would look pretty stupid. That would look pretty stupid.
Like the wings being embedded into the material of the
helmet. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Completely fine. That's fine. We don't need the actual wings like sticking. No.
Yeah,
that's almost as bad. That almost would have been just as bad as like the rubber ears from the 1990 film. So, no, not needed.
I was gonna bring that up.
Not needed.
No scale outfit. No Buccaneer boots either. Yeah,
right.
We're done with that. That era is gone.
It's gone.
Only thing left is, damn it, that motherfreaker better say Avengers Assemble before this movie.
He damn sure better. That's right.
They have to.
He has to say it.
11 years waiting to hear that phrase. Come on.
They get that one in there, and we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be the awesome thing.
We're waiting for it, dude. That's gonna be the most lit moment in the movie. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. Yeah, that's gonna be the hype moment in the movie. I ain't gonna lie. All right, people. Y'all waited long enough. We're going to talk about it. I'm sure a lot of people have hung around the show to finally talk about it, but Game of Thrones comes back on Sunday. Season 8. It's the end of the great game. So this show has given us a lot of really great moments. Probably, you know, the most standout moment for a lot of people was the red wedding. You know, there's been a lot of other hype, a lot of other hype moments, like when the Mountain was fighting Oberyn and he crushed his skull in his hands. That was pretty cold. The machinations of Cersei Lannister has been and the growth of Arya Stark into like just this cold-blooded assassin. So let's recap some of season 7's best moments, if you guys don't mind. So for those of us that did watch Game of Thrones, and for those of you that didn't, you guys really should get on the ball and watch the marathon, and I'm sure, no doubt, is on HBO right now. So Miaoyin, you are wearing the My Khaleesi's shirt, repping the Targaryen house. So what was some of the best moments from season 7 for you?
I don't know how to say this because I feel like it's a huge spoiler for people who haven't seen it. And I know how excited I was when I saw that moment. So I'll go with another moment. I think, Arya is one of my favorite characters. So I think one of her great moments in season 7 is when she teamed up with her sister
and gave the business to Littlefinger.
Littlefinger.
Yes! Dude, I kid you not.
That is one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, because like when Sansa just gave her the look, was just like, and Arya just looked over at Littlefinger almost like with a smirk on her face. And he was like, Sansa, please. She walked up so quick and was like, done. And I was like, oh, that's so cold-blooded. That's so cold-blooded. That was great. And just let him bleed out on the floor. That was just awesome. It was really good.
It was beautiful because it was just the way that Sansa also, like, she's grown on me because
yes, she
I
has.
did not like Sansa
I used to hate her
for a very long time.
I used to hate her.
And she so beautifully gave Littlefinger every deceitful thing that he had ever did
done
to her family. Done to her family.
But you know what?
Boom, right back to him in his final moments.
But here's the whole thing. Like, when you think about it, listening to Sansa recap everything that happened, this entire show happened because of him. Like, Ned Stark doesn't die if it's not for him. Even the king doesn't die if it's not for him.
Which king?
Because King Robert Baratheon doesn't die if it's not for him. Because he's the one that killed that had his old hand killed, who was looking out for him, and basically started the whole war
at the hands of Cersei.
She might have kept him alive for a little while longer, but I'm just saying, this whole thing, the whole dance, started because of him.
Yes, I will agree that it started because of him, because he definitely he's a catalyst. He was a catalyst for a lot of things.
A lot of things. Absolutely. Who else on the show watches Game of Thrones? You follow Marvel? Don't disappoint me.
Unfortunately,
don't disappoint me. Don't disappoint me.
Sorry, I have not. I'm sorry, I haven't.
Oh my God.
I don't have HBO like that, and I haven't gotten around to watching other stuff either. So it's like, sorry, I missed that one.
That was so hilarious. Don't disappoint me. Oh.
Hey, it is what it is. Like, look, I haven't watched this. I haven't watched Stranger Things. It happens. I'm sorry.
What? Oh man.
Listen, mister, you haven't watched Fifth Element yet. Don't come down on me.
Yeah, Ken, you kind of can't. Shiro, you can't.
Oh man, he got you, brother.
Right.
I mean,
I've almost just about had enough of all of you with that.
But Stranger Things has only been out for a couple of years. Fifth Element has been out for a lot of years. So I'm just saying.
Almost 20, right?
I wasn't going to say anything, but
I think it's almost 25.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
See, GQ's got the nice box set in his hand.
Yeah, but it's unopened because I haven't watched Game of Thrones either.
But you got the Blu-ray in your hands.
Yeah, I have the ability to watch it, but I'm not going to watch it until season 8 comes out.
Oh, okay. You basically don't want to do any waiting at all, and I can understand that. I can understand that.
When I first binge watched Game of Thrones, I was upset when I caught up. I'm just gonna be honest, because I wanted more, and for people who are like waiting for it to be over so that they can binge, I understand, because it's worth it. It is worth taking a week, or 4 days, or 6 days.
Yeah, I've
done all of those.
Yeah,
from start to finish and watching it.
So man, I and L, you haven't watched it either, right?
I have not watched it, but I keep seeing clips on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. So I saw one the other day that was really cool. Maybe you guys can tell me what season it's from. I thought it was like really good. Blonde, she gave an eagle to this king, and in return, he gave her his army. And
that was a dragon.
A dragon? Okay, yeah.
Dragon.
And then he was like speaking in a different language, but and she was speaking in English, and so I guess he was calling her names and stuff, and so he didn't, because he thought she didn't know how to speak the language, and then she talked in the language and then had everybody kill them. That was awesome. What season was that?
That was season 4 or 5 when she was in Marine, I think, right?
Yeah, because the dragons were still small; they weren't fully grown yet.
And basically, Daenerys was freeing the slaves. She was freeing the slaves in the
Breaker
Unsullied.
of Chains.
The Breaker of Chains. Yep.
And that was fire. So, and are we gonna do the other, like who we want on the throne?
Other what?
Who we went on the throne and all that part.
Yeah, we will do that. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait.
Okay.
But recapping some more of the good developments out of that year. The somewhat surprising romance between Daenerys and Jon Snow, I thought was a very interesting development. Jon Snow has always been one of my favorite characters from the beginning of the show. I've always liked him. And Kit Harington has just owned that role from Jump Street, from Jump Street, and he's been on a very long journey.
He has had some good growth.
But you know what? I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Cersei's deliciously maliciousness.
Well, can I say before we move on to Cersei, because for Jon Snow and Daenerys, I'm one of the few people I didn't want it to happen.
Oh, no way.
No, I didn't want it to happen. I was just like, come on, bro, that's your aunt. No, let's not do this.
Now, Tommy's in the chat bringing up. He said he stopped at the purple wedding, which. Because he said it seemed like endless bullshit that never got solved. And I can understand that. Some of the middle seasons seemed like they were kind of slow and sluggish, and they weren't really progressing the story enough. But after that season, it really picked up because, dude, I mean, I kid you not. So Chastain is saying, so we still acting like they didn't change up Dario Naharis? No, they totally did. They totally did. They totally did.
But I was like, how did this long-haired blonde guy
turn into a brunette like seemingly overnight?
To this bald-haired brunette guy
overnight
with a mustache,
or
not
overnight.
a mustache, but with facial hair. Stop.
Yeah. She's like, and I didn't want it to happen either. Ain't no incest being condoned over here. Now look.
Thank you.
Now look. Y'all know Targaryens roll differently. And
a lot of them roll differently.
Right. And he's not
the only ones that weren't rolling like that were the Starks.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But no, Tommy, the Purple Wedding, if y'all don't know, the Purple Wedding was probably one of the best scenes in the show because the character that deserved, the Purple Wedding, the character that deserved to die the most, died in probably the most excruciating way. This is when Joffrey got choked out.
Okay, I didn't know that people referred to it as the Purple Wedding.
Well, yeah, because his skin turned all purple as he was choking to death on the poison.
I mean,
he deserved it. And I was laughing and I was cheering when it happened because I hated him. That
was one of the most satisfying on-screen deaths of the show. I will tell you guys who haven't watched it yet, that is one of the most satisfying deaths. And when it comes, you guys will be like,
yes.
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
So I really and the interesting thing was, because I watched it after the scenes thing, and apparently the whole cast was kind of sad because the kid who plays Joffrey, his name is it's Jack something. I can't remember his last name, but he's actually the total opposite of that character. So
I totally believe
everybody on cast was really upset that he was leaving, but they were just like, I mean, okay.
Yeah. But, Tommy says he was satisfied after the Purple Wedding. It was my ending. I was good. Now, look. Now you need to go back to the beginning and watch it all again through to the end. Because I'm going to do that.
Because it does, because I know, Tommy, you were saying that it seems like endless BS, but they actually, after that happens, there is a very other satisfying part that closes everything, and you're just like, well done.
Okay, so
well
the other standout moment. I'm sorry, GQ. Go ahead.
I didn't really have anything. Like I said, I just was interested in wondering why you were over there supporting incest.
Right.
There's a really good. You'll find out when you watch the show. When you find out when you
good reasons.
No,
you'll think there's a really good reason that I'm a racist. Okay.
Damn. Yeah, no. That kind of went left, but whatever. So the other really awesome moment in season 7 for me was Arya wiping out Walder Frey and his family. That was particularly satisfying when she did that.
That was fantastic.
That was awesome the way she did it.
I had this debate with a lot of people because when that episode first came out, people were like, "Oh, Arya's Batman." I was like, "Batman don't do stuff like that. He don't kill people. What you talking about?"
Zack Snyder.
No, that's true. That's true.
You watch the Snyderverse, you might
right.
Let's not act like that's the holy grail in the Bible of Batman.
To certain people, yes, it is.
Introduction to it.
Yes, it is. To certain people, that is absolutely what they think. Absolutely.
Anyway,
it's the truth. I'm just saying.
Over in the chat here on YouTube, Hannibal Omega says, "What about Ramsay's end?"
Now, Ramsay's end came in season 6, and that shit was satisfying as hell too. I am not gonna lie, that was very satisfying to me.
Yes,
because there was a 1 and 2
bastards.
Right, there was a 1 and 2 placeholder for characters that I absolutely despised in that show. Joffrey was 1. Ramsay Bolton was probably 1A, if not one over Joffrey. This dude, that was the worst dude I've ever seen.
They were tied for me. They were tied. They were both disgusting people for me, and I was glad to see them both find a fitting in.
So you were getting your inner yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell on.
And I actually said that when Ramsay died.
Wow.
I actually said that when Ramsay died.
And the way he died was so poetic justice for him, because this is a dude, he died in a way, he fed his brand new stepmom and his brother and his half brother, who was an infant at the time, to his dogs that he didn't feed for days. It was It was
They used to sick dogs on slaves and stuff. So you condoning all sorts of interesting stuff over there.
Yikes!
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. It's one of my. This show it indulges some of my darker aspects, and I
But
fully.
you haven't seen Fifth Element or played Grand Theft Auto. What's wrong with you?
I have reasons for not playing Grand Theft Auto, but I probably would play it now that my kids are older. I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Okay.
My kids are older now, so
Whatever.
What about Reek? I think the most he gets the Yellow Belly award of the show for me. Reek.
Oh yeah, good old Theon over there, the guy that got his wiener. Yeah, the guy that got his wiener cut off.
Don't tell them all this stuff. Don't tell them all.
Hey, you know what? They'll see for themselves. Yeah, but the way when he jumped overboard and left his sister, yeah, that was kind of weak sauce.
Let my brother do that and me live.
Right. That was some weak shit, dude. I ain't gonna lie.
We're gonna have an interesting conversation.
Right.
I'm gonna go Jon Snow on him.
Yeah, that was some weak shit. I ain't gonna lie. That was weak as hell. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to it. So let's speculate who's going to survive, or
you had something to say about Cersei.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that Cersei Lannister, by far, seeing her. I mean, she just relishes in being so bad, like literally so bad. She relishes in it, and I enjoy seeing her because she's a wonderful tactician as far as how she outthinks her enemies and stuff like that. Like when they had that summit at King's Landing, you were thinking one thing, with Euron Greyjoy kind of like taking the fleet and leaving. You thought that was for real. You thought that was for real. I wasn't thinking that. I did. I thought that was for real. I thought he was turning tail. But nah, Cersei was like, I had him leave. I know what I'm doing. That was really good.
Is Natalie Emmanuel still on the show?
Yes, she is. And she's gorgeous. Okay. Yes, she is gorgeous.
That makes it worth watching then. Never mind.
Yep.
Just wondering.
She is gorgeous.
Okay, so this is my take on Cersei. Cersei is maybe one of the most underrated tacticians on the show. People just see her as this evil, greedy person. No. And after her, you see it from the very beginning in season 1. So you see it from the very beginning in season 1, how manipulative she is and how she uses strategy to her advantage. Now, has it backfired? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Has it worked out in her favor? Absolutely. So she's just one of those people who, love her or hate her, she's a survivor. And she's one of those people who, while you think you have a couple of steps ahead of her, probably not.
Nope.
And she's going to use everything she has in her power, even when she has nothing and she's stripped naked and she is forced to take a walk of shame. Even that moment, even that thing, she uses to her advantage. So, Cersei, while I do not like her, I can't crap on her. She's just, wow. I see you, Cersei, and whew, like, man, it's something to be said for the type of strategy she uses, because she uses everything in her arsenal, from intimidation to her feminine wiles, to her status, to her family money. Like, Cersei, in my opinion, is like the epitome of like power and privilege and what someone does with it.
Dude, so, I'm not gonna lie, like the way she took down the High Septon in the church, after having to do the walk of shame in season 5.
Oh, in season that was after doing the walk of shame in season 5, and then coming back in season 6 and being like, "Watch what I do, though."
Right, dude. And she was sipping that basically, and she was like sipping the tea, like Kermit was just like, okay. Dude, it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
It was brilliant.
So let me ask you. So who do you think? So since GQ is probably one of the closest to watching Game of Thrones out of everybody on the panel, who do you think he's going to resonate with the most in the show? Because if you had a feeling, I'm
also going to watch it.
I know, but he might be closer. I mean, because he actually owns the Blu-rays. You don't have? Do you have HBO? L? Do you have HBO at all?
No, but I do have a way to watch it though.
Okay, all right then. Hop on that.
Watch it. We can.
Girl, you gotta watch it.
I'll start with you. Start with you from season 1.
Look, all we need
to watch it.
Right.
I'll watch it with you.
All we need is the excuse to start over, and we will start over. That's how good that show is. I probably binge watched it 3 times.
I'll be watching the new season, but I'll start and I'll be like, all right, like.
So who do we think GQ would probably resonate with the most out of everybody in that show?
Either, and I could be wrong on this, either Cersei Lannister.
She was my first guess.
Not Tywin.
Yeah, Tywin. No, because Tywin wasn't as ruthless. He was literally about the business of running the country.
Or Daenerys. Is it Daenerys?
Oh,
the spider.
Viserys? No way.
Viserys.
No way. No way.
Maybe not.
No, I don't think so. And
he's cunning.
I will say,
well,
see, you'll see. Here's one reason why GQ might like Tywin Lannister is because he's played by Charles Dance. Charles Dance can't do no wrong.
Yeah, Charles Dance did a good. He does a good job. He played a old school vampire in Dracula Untold, and he also played the villain, or one of the villains, or kind of the henchman. Actually, he wasn't even a henchman. He was more of a lackey. And Last Action Hero. The Last Action Hero was awesome. I don't care what anybody says.
But like I said, I think that he would definitely like Tywin because of what he does, and he wields a lot of power. And he's also has GQ's philosophy of, I don't care, get rid of these motherfuckers.
Yeah,
possibly interesting.
GQ Hannah Omega says GQ would empathize with Jaime Lannister the most clearly. That's wrong. That's so wrong. That is so wrong. No way.
I mean, a lot of people actually resonated. Like Jaime Lannister resonated with a lot of people, and I can see why, because he's the handsome, powerful knight and all this kind of stuff. But in my opinion, Jaime Lannister has always been a wimp.
I can see that.
Because he rests everything on what somebody else is doing or what somebody else needs him to do. He needs to be needed.
He gets led around by his sister, and I think that's why the growth he showed at the end of season 7 was probably the biggest development in his character I've ever seen.
Yeah, but I want to see what he's going to do in season 8, because there's rumors saying that he's supposed to go against his sister and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, maybe, probably, but we'll see, kind of thing. Because also, Jaime is a nasty bastard. Let me just say that. I'll just say that. Let me just put that out in the world.
Sure, I can understand. I can understand that. So let's speculate on who's going to survive and who's going to die. So honestly, Arya's going to survive. There's no way she'll die. She's been through way too much. There's no way she dies. I'm not seeing it.
In my hearts of hearts, I want Arya to survive all the way to the end, but I feel like she's going to die halfway through.
No, I couldn't. You know what? See, and here's the hard part, because there's so many characters on the show that you like now. It's hard for you to see any of them die.
Nah, that's not true.
I mean, I said there's so
Not
many.
for me.
It's hard for me to see as many of them die. I could easily see Jamie dying. I could easily see maybe even Brienne of Tarth dying. Podrick, I can see that happening.
Oh, Podrick.
Let's see. Daenerys better not die. Jon Snow better not die, and Tyrion better not die. And Arya better not die. Jon Snow better not die.
So those are your favorites,
yeah,
huh?
those 5, they better live. Everybody else can die for all I care. Those 5, but they better live.
People.
Huh?
So it sounds like you named off more than 5 people.
No, I said Daenerys, Jon Snow, Tyrion, Arya, and didn't I say one other person? Oh no, 4. I'm sorry. I think I said Jon Snow twice. So those 4. As long as those 4 live, I'm okay. Everybody else can die. Yeah.
Okay, so over here in the chat and YouTube, they say Hand of Omega says Jamie's still pretty damn badass though. I disagree, sir. He says Sansa and Arya tag team. King Akeem 83 says Reek is gonna die.
Reek's got to die. Yeah.
He also says Pod is gonna live. And Hand of Omega says Dany dies. Jon rules. Remember the prophecy about pulling the sword of flame from the woman's chest. I say that could be the Red Woman.
Where has she been, by the way? Where's she been anyway?
She showed up at the end of season 7.
Did she? Oh, she's the advisor for. She's on Dany's staff now, right?
She showed up to talk to her.
Okay. All right.
And she said Sansa and Tyrion are gonna reconnect. No love for Bran. I totally forgot about Bran. I actually enjoy Bran. He's just I'm kind of frustrated with Bran. Because I'm like, you know stuff. Why don't you tell them certain things?
Right?
You can help them.
Right? You got all these secrets, man. Start sharing. Damn. I mean, dude, for a guy that has the ability to see all through the period of time of Westeros, except for the future, he can see all the way in the past, anywhere, at any time, and he knows all these secrets, but he won't share them with nobody. That's so dumb.
So he's like the Watcher?
In a way.
You just said he knows everything but the future, though, right?
Yeah, he knows everything but the future.
He knows like some parts of the future, but it's like it's not a clear picture. He has a clear picture of the past, but he has only like
Visions,
patches of the future.
So in other words, he's a chronicler, and he's not like even a seer. So like that's kind of
he is to a point because he knows certain things that are going to happen. So he knows like it's certain scenes that he have.
He's guessing based on the fact that he has such a clear like recall of the past. He's trying to read out patterns.
But he doesn't talk about it, so it's not like he tries
with
to
anyone.
Inform anybody or anything.
I wouldn't
he
either.
just knows
if I had, hey, back in the day, knowledge was power, so I'm keeping all that power to myself.
I mean, he sits around and he just, lives. He doesn't really do anything with the information he has, which I think is he needs to tell people.
Why?
He does.
Why should
There's certain things like. One, he needs to tell everybody that Jon Snow's name is not Jon Snow.
But again, that's not his secret to tell.
Yes, it is.
He's not Jon Snow or whoever's Jon Snow.
Jon Snow doesn't know anything about. Jon Snow doesn't know anything about his life, though.
I understand that, but why should he be telling you anything?
So basically, he's Wolverine,
right? Just sitting there chilling, getting over watching everybody.
Kinda. I say Reek, not Reek. Jeez, let's not talk about Reek. Bran, he can help his family. He can help his family.
What is his family
in their
done
place.
for him?
Everything.
Like what?
Protect him in ways.
Mm-hmm. cooking and cleaning, washing clothes.
Oh, hush.
Ah, man. But no, we're all super excited for let's see, our boy Tion's in the chat over on YouTube, and he said, who ends up on the throne? Now that would be telling. That would be very telling who'd be on the throne. Honestly, I know who I want on the throne, but I don't know if she'll get there. I've been pulling for Danny since probably season 2. Since season 2, when after she kind of shook off being kind of like this, when she kind of grew into her, grew into herself. I think I've been pulling for her ever since then.
Wait a minute. Isn't that one blonde girl that controls dragons? Isn't that the same girl that played Sarah Connor in Terminator Genesis?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. She was
Amelia.
Miscast. She was miscast for that movie.
Amelia something.
You said,
nice.
Amelia Clark.
Yeah.
Amelia Clark.
She was miscast to Sarah Connor. That was a horrible decision.
Yo, that movie never should have been made. So, I mean,
they're making a new one though. Did y'all know that?
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Right.
It's getting the Halloween treatment. They're basically retconning anything after the second movie.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Like this, it basically retcons anything after the second one.
So did everybody really hate Terminator Salvation that much? I didn't think it was terrible, but I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever.
I thought it was all right.
Everybody that worked on the set hated it.
Because of Christian Bale? Absolutely.
Yeah. Was like, nah,
I mean, I think by itself, I mean, I thought it was fine. I mean, I thought it was pertinent to what they was going on in the future, but I guess like the end result didn't leave a lasting impression, because if I remember correctly, that was supposed to be its own trilogy. So
here's the issue with Terminator Salvation. Outside of having Moonblood who looked really good in that movie.
Yes.
Common was so, and I like Common. Common's cool, but God goodness, he was cheesy as hell in that movie, man. He was like super cheesy. Go back and just watch that one scene when they tested out that signal that could supposedly scramble Skynet's, like communications and make them like crash and stuff. Just go back and watch. Just watch that scene again, and watch this how like horrible his line delivery was in that scene. It was just like, dude, like, Common, you redeemed yourself in John Wick 2, man, but that Terminator Salvation scene was like, come on, dude. What are you? I
mean, it's not his fault.
Ask for a second take or something. No. I'm gonna look it up. I'll put it in the chat. Y'all gotta see this. It's terrible.
Hey, so Miayan, who do you want to end up on the throne?
Realistically, or who do I actually just want on the throne?
No, who do you want on the throne? Who do you want?
I want Arya on the throne.
She doesn't have the She's
gonna be Sansa.
No, if anyone, Sansa is more built for that type of role, because Arya wouldn't want it. I don't think Arya would want the Iron Throne. That's
exactly why I want her to have it, because it would turn into chaos.
Oh. I see.
Because what Arya would do is, and this is just me spitballing, she would kill Cersei, because remember her list.
I do want that to happen.
So if she was to somehow cloak herself and kill Cersei
as Jaime, maybe,
and end up maybe whatever, I don't know. And end up on the throne. Everything goes into chaos or darkness, or people just lead themselves, because she doesn't want that. She's been saying that since the, very beginning. I'm no lady.
I don't want to rule. Right.
But realistically, on maybe what might happen kind of thing. Daenerys.
I could, even though you could literally say that Jon is now the real heir to the throne anyway.
But I don't understand that. Is that because he is her older brother's child?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And he's a male. You know how those old world rules work. Sometimes it's men before
But
women.
if that's the fact, then
He'd probably give it to her though. He'd probably give it to her though anyway, because I don't think he'd want the throne either.
I just want to know how he feels when his biggest fear has come true.
Biggest fear?
That he boned a family member.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But we'll see. Yeah, I do. I see.
Who is this? Wait a minute.
Who is what?
No, go ahead. I'm just looking at the chat.
Maybe John, Hand of Omega saying maybe Danny and John will end up being end up ruling together. Epic Duckmaster is over in the Facebook. Was he in Facebook or is he in Twitch? I think he's in. But he's like, stop being black. Well, kind of can't do that. It's sorry,
bruh. Stop being whatever you are. I mean, does that sound like a smart thing? Probably not.
Nah, I mean, I know he's just trolling, but can't help but being black. We were kind of born this way, and there's nothing wrong with it. So,
what was it? Epic Duckmaster?
Epic 3. Duckmaster 3.
Oh, okay. Hiya.
That's the language.
We're all black on this panel, so it's just
Troll better, buddy. You better troll.
Right. For real. Oh, my mama though. Yeah, he's coming in late. Please don't feed the trolls. He says. Adam Omega says, please don't feed the trolls. No, GQ loves trolls. He thinks trolls are fun.
Absolutely.
Right, GQ? Right, GQ?
What? Oh, I'm sorry. I was at a family barbecue. What am I missing?
Oh no. Epic Duckmaster is over on Twitch. He says he's just came to the show and said we should stop being black.
That's an interesting take on it, but your name is Epic Duckmaster, so you are never around when things get real. Is that what you're trying to say? I mean,
or he's an offshoot from Duck Dynasty. I don't know. Maybe he's a redneck sitting on computers talking to us. I don't know. I mean, we're happy for every viewer that we get anyway. It doesn't matter really. So,
thanks for the view count.
Thank you.
By the way.
Right,
man.
appreciate that, man. I mean, that
was pretty lame.
Every second that he acts.
Epic Duckmaster, please continue to watch our show because you're helping us out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do appreciate it.
I'd like to have
appreciate it. Yep. He says he's Epic Blackmaster. Wow, that doesn't have any connotations at all. I mean,
I'm
none.
sorry, sir.
There's no connotations in that at all.
There's no porn on this network. So let's take that elsewhere.
Right.
I don't know. That's not. We're a family channel here until we're not.
Wait a minute. When were we a family channel? We be cussing and shit all on this thing.
Until we're not, and that's when we're not.
Family don't.
I mean, dog. I mean, for real. I mean, Super Nerd Plus comes on the show half drunk most of the time because he's drinking so many things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. It's like,
excuse me, every family is not the same.
True that. Facts.
Some families drink, some families curse, some families like us talk about nerd shit and, be awesome.
And shit.
Oh, I know, right? Because Dadokuji loves talking about poop all the time. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's a story behind that. So I was at a party.
Oh my God, here we go.
So I'm at a house party, and this guy came up to me at Waffles. He said, man, this is cool as shit. He said, yeah, and shit. I'm like, every time we say something, y'all says, and shit. I'm like, what? All right, whatever, dude.
I'm like, what is happening right now?
I don't know. One of those drunken nights at a house party.
Yo, wait. So Mr. Reese chimed in over on YouTube. He said he's just like the drunk uncle.
He's just like the drunk uncle.
Oh, you know how I get down.
So wait, so I think you need to have a talk with Stephanie. She says she's been watching and waiting for the strippers. What strippers?
Oh wow, I don't know what she's talking about.
I mean, y'all getting ready to do something. I mean, according to Miao Yin, this is a family show, so we don't have none of that stuff over here.
Well, no. You objected to that statement, so obviously you about to tote out the strippers.
No,
I mean,
or you about to strip yourself? Please tell me so I can.
Right.
Listen, I got a keg. Ain't nobody looking at me.
So Hannah Omega was like, wait, so was that seriously? Hannah Omega wants to know, was that seriously the whole story?
Oh
like,
yeah, I got plenty of stories. Don't get me wrong, I got random ass stories.
No, but that was the story.
I would never say a story. But it was just a quick little quip. It's a quick little quip.
A quick little quip. I like that.
Quick little quip.
Yo, Epic Duckmaster, he knows how to finesse the government. I'll give him that. He said, "What'd you buy with your food stamps this month?" I bought a Dodge Charger. So hey, he knows.
Hey, I mean,
he's doing it right.
I don't know anything about food stamps, but I think the food part negates that statement completely. But whatever.
And stamps.
I mean, they're not really stamps. You really get a stipend from the government card, So
yeah, it's a card now.
It's a card, so it's not really a stamp. It's a card. But he finessed it. But what he did is he took his obviously very sizable food stamp income from the government, right? Because obviously he must be getting like a few $1,000s. He bought himself a Dodge Charger with it, so he's finessing the government for real.
Bartered. That means
that's what I'm saying. Right.
He could have also. He's leaving part of the story out because he doesn't want to let us know that part about his life. And, he gave the food stamps and somebody gave him a Dodge Charger for some extra tug and pull, whatever. I don't know. That's his life, though.
For some of the 6 delicious favors, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
Okay. So Stephanie's like, it's a bridge card. And he bought a Matchbox. He bought a Matchbox card. That's probably right. That's probably right.
Thank you, Epic Sauce Master. We appreciate your duck sauce.
Oh.
Moving on.
I know it's fun.
Right. So anyway,
fun.
Now we have roasted this.
Right. Tony Young's like somebody trying to clown on their parents' Wi-Fi. That's obviously what's going on here. That's obviously what's going on here.
I love it.
Yeah, no, it is funny. So we love
funny.
trolls. We love trolls.
Yeah.
Keep coming back and giving us views, man.
Absolutely,
We appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate you, man. Anyway, guys, we've been on for almost 2 hours, so let's go ahead and get ready to get out of here.
This was a good show.
This was a good show, and we
appreciate the time and all that.
Yeah, we went pretty long. We went pretty long today.
I love how our fans in the chat is going in on them too. That makes me
because here
that's nice.
we are a family.
Family,
right?
We are a family.
Absolutely. It's like
get that brand strong, son.
Right. So anyway, guys. So Game of Thrones is getting ready to come back on this Sunday on HBO. Unfortunately, people like Epic Duckmaster and HW. Epic Duckmaster 3 might not be able to watch it because he's on that very fixed income.
Right.
Yeah. So and HW Nova is our boy Tommy. He switched over to Twitch for us, so he could go in on him for us. So that's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. We appreciate you, sir. So Game of Thrones is coming on Sunday. If you want to go in and Stephanie's crazy singing "Lean on Me When You're Not Strong." She crazy. No, she's crazy. No, yeah, we know. She's dope, but she needs to come correct.
She wins the chat this evening.
She needs to stop posting. She needs to stop posting pictures to my Facebook page, though. You need to have a little talk with her about that, super nerd.
Because you haven't watched Fifth Element, that's why.
Oh yeah.
Stephanie, continue what you're doing. I love it.
Get this man to watch
It's brilliant.
Fight the good fight.
Fight the good fight.
Brilliant,
you guys are a bunch of jerks. You know that?
Continue.
Yeah, you guys are a bunch of jerks. You know that. Anyway, so we're going to be back next week. No break. We're going to be back next week with another great show, Culture Junkies Live, right here on our YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook channels, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Time. We have a lot of things in the pipeline for next week. Don't know exactly what we're going to talk about, but my beautiful co-host and co-producer, Yayin, is going to help me round out what the topics are going to be. So pay attention to our Facebook channel. Yeah, pay attention to our Facebook chat, Facebook page, so you can get all the up to date details on what the next show is going to be. And Tony Young, Man of Steel is not trash. It's actually a very good movie. So for my boys, Super Nerd Plus,
somebody.
yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
It's not trash, you guys.
Yeah, it's not trash.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It's not. Well, it's not. It's not. It's not.
A decent film.
It's a very decent film. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Anyway, for my boys, Fallen Marvel, GQ, and Super Nerd Plus, and for my girls, LGZ and Miayin, I am Kenshiro. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out, y'all.
Bid y'all farewell. Good night.
Goodbye, all of you happy people. We'll talk to you later. Good night.
What's with that English accent? That's pretty.
I just want to talk like this right now, so I think I will.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, bring that back a few more times.